I'm here with Vic again with another XT250. Now, Vic, you want to tell us about this bike?
Everybody, this is XT Momo's understudy. His name is Little Mo. He's a 2013 XT250 fuel injected model. First year Yamaha introduced fuel injection to the XT series. This bike was purchased in October and November of 2019 after I crashed the original XT Momo in a head-on. So this little guy was the replacement to allow me to continue working on the Northeast BDR expedition. We built a 1,300 plus mile loop through the Northeast, starting at the Pennsylvania-New York border that went through New York State. Went through a little bit of Pennsylvania, New York State, crossed over into a bit of Massachusetts, down into a bit of Connecticut, all the way up through the Berkshires in Massachusetts, through Vermont, through New Hampshire, and then into Maine before coming back into New Hampshire to the Canadian border. So it was really exciting to be part of this effort and part of the development team. Had a lot of fun. The bike only had 46 miles on it. It sat in somebody's warehouse. This gentleman bought it for his son, expecting they would be able to ride together. The son really didn't have any interest in riding. So this sat in a CNC shop, basically unused for many years. I bought it in 2019. It was 2013 when they bought it originally. The CNC shop, apparently they used paraffin wax to cool the CNC machines. So the bike was coated in this light spray of paraffin wax. It was almost like sealed for perpetuity until I got to it, which was kind of neat. If you polish the wax, it would shine up everything on the bike. So I was still in a soft cast when I went up to Buffalo to pick up this bike. Saw it, explained the situation to the owner of the bike of what happened to me. He had other offers on the bike for the same amount, but when he heard my story and the fact that I was part of this Northeast development team and I needed the bike to continue my work on this track, he said, you know what, $3,200, it's yours. Can you get here this weekend? So on a Saturday, my dear friend Rob Ulmer said, I'll drive you up there. So we jumped in his pickup truck at 9 in the morning and made it up to Buffalo for about 3:30 in the afternoon. So next spring, I was able to outfit the bike and continue efforts on the Northeast BDR. We took a lot of parts off XT Momo. These guards right here are no longer sold by Yamaha. They used to be a Yamaha genuine accessory. You can't find them anymore. I don't know if they may be in Japan, but we took these off Momo, put them on this bike. I outfitted the bike the same. Did the Barkbusters handguards, 35 watt HID light just like he has. I put the RAM mount for my GPS unit. I put a RAM mount for a phone, just in case I needed an auxiliary track. I could use my phone. Same rack, Yamaha genuine accessories, bash plate, Yamaha genuine accessories. Same type of OGO tail bag, a toolkit, as well as an auxiliary fuel bottle just in case I needed it. The only mod I did to this bike outside of that is I changed the blinkers to LED because the turn signals on the XT have a huge draw in terms of electrical. So I wanted to reduce the pull on my stator because I have the HID light, I have the GPS unit, and I thought about maybe at some point in time trying to put heated grips on, but the jury's out for that because the stator is very small and I didn't want to overwhelm it. I did put a more aggressive knobby on the bike. I put a Pirelli MT21 on the front and a Dunlop D606 on the back. I knew we were going up into Vermont and I knew it was wet, muddy, and rocky. And the trail wings are great tires with the exception of mud. So I knew I was going to need something beefier. And this tire does the job. It's pretty miserable on the road though. It's very buzzy and noisy, this tire combo, but it is a pretty famous combo if you're going to really get into the enduro side of dual sport riding. So I would really suggest this tire set. The 606 gets you through anything. I don't have to worry about getting stuck whatsoever. And the Pirelli is very sure-footed as well. It's got knobs right in all the right places. Otherwise, this is the same Wolfman tank bag that XT Momo had. I just took it off him. But the bike has about 6,500 miles on it so far. Unfortunately, I didn't break it in properly. I didn't have the time to, due to the injury and the timeline of the BDR expedition. I may have done some damage to the rings by not changing out the oil when I needed to, and a lot of dust I think some dust got into the engine because when we were doing the expedition, it was extremely dry in the Catskills, and that's when the problem started happening. The bike didn't want to shift, the engine oil got too hot, and I think that's when the damage was done. So this may need a top end, and it's pretty funny talking about this with 6,500 miles when I haven't even done anything to XT Momo yet, and he's at 40,000 miles in terms of top end. The ergonomics are different. I did also put a set of risers on this bike. The handlebars are flatter for some reason, and even with the risers, I'm still feeling like I'm a little bit too far forward on the bike. I should feel like I'm more back. So I did do the risers to try to correct that. The foot pegs also seem like they're in a bit different of a spot from the '08 model, which bugs me. The engine, while it's nice to have fuel injection, the engine revs higher. Love the loping sound of the carburation on my 2008 model. This is just a faster revving bike, and it seems to have less spunk, believe it or not, than my carbureted model. I'm not sure why. Could be me. It doesn't quite fit me as well as my 2008, which is my beloved bike. But you know what? It was certainly serviceable for the job. I was very proud of the fact that this is the smallest bike to have ever been in a backcountry discovery routes expedition or development. The second smallest bike was a WR250R, which Ina Thorne rode on one of the expeditions. So I'm also proud to say Jocelyn Snow sat on this bike, which is kind of neat. And she was actually able to touch the ground. And she's just an incredible person. It was an honor to meet her and ride with her the day of the filming. And also Mike Lafferty. I got to meet and ride with him. Mike was on a KTM 790, and he's incredible. Both of them were incredible people, wonderful people. They're the same way off camera as they are on. So really, they made that effort and that day really special. Sadly, the day of the filming, I was in another accident. 1 year after the original accident with my 2008. It was late in the day, had some other delays due to other offs, and my foot peg, my right foot peg, caught a stump at about 30 miles an hour going through October Mountain State Forest in Massachusetts. It ripped me off the bike pretty quickly. I sustained a separated level 2 separation of the shoulder. I had a contused sternum, and I broke a rib up here. So I had to ride out of there because it was 10 miles to get to pavement. Mike Lafferty was kind enough to say, just follow my rear wheel, and he avoided all the rocks to avoid the bumps, which hurt like heck when you hit them with all the broken bits I had on me. But outside of the bike's handlebars getting a little wonky, which I was able to fix, and the hand guards, there was really no damage to the bike. These things are so solid and dependable, and they don't have, they have traditional dual sport plastics that give and bend. They won't crack. This thing, hardly, there was a few scratches, I think, maybe a couple scratches on the fender, maybe a couple scratches somewhere on the bike, but not really anything otherwise. And the funny thing is, Mike Lafferty said to me, I don't know, is the bike going to start? I said, Mike, it's a Yamaha. Of course it'll start. And one push of the starter, and boom, it came back to life. Sadly, I was a little slower to get going. They propped me up and got me back on the bike, and we rode out of there. But for now, this is going to be my daily driver as far as dual sport riding goes. He's all stickered up. I leave his stickers on to show off his being proud of his accomplishment through the BDR. Hopefully I can see some of you out on the trail. Look for him. You'll see his stickers. You'll know it's me, and I'd love to talk with you about XT stuff if you have a moment. So thank you again, Keith, and we'll see you guys out on the road.
Yeah, we're about to go for a ride, so we will talk to you later, and leave any questions or comments about the XT250 down below. Thanks for watching.